Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the fourth episode in the most must-see podcast in the NJSSL. Welcome to The Cutting Reg. As usual, I'm your host, Reg, and I am joined by two of the top premier athletes within the NJSSL. At least one of them is premier for sure. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but definitely one of them. But do introduce. Allow me to introduce my first guest. He's been a regular on the show since the start of the football season. He is the coach of the Ravens, who are unfortunately struggling at 0-2 right now, probably because he's the coach.
Thank you for
But
having
please
me again.
welcome Haider
It was a
Abbas.
pleasure.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you. We do definitely enjoy your takes, especially when you call the Lions out to lose every week.
Well, the first week I
I'm
had
sure
them
you
to
have
win,
stuff to
but I
say
wasn't
about
on
that.
the preview podcast, so
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. All right. But speaking of the Lions, allow me to introduce my second guest. He is the one and only commissioner of the NJSSL, two-time captain of the year, the reigning, defending champion within football for the NJSSL. He's currently the quarterback and basically the assistant captain to the NJSSL Lions. Please welcome yours and our favorite Ali Shah.
Thank you for having me, Reg. It's an honor to be on here on The Cutting Reg, the most must-see talk show in NJSL history. I think it's great that we finally have like another wrestling fan on the show, so hopefully we can make some more references.
Oh, 100%. We got to have him locked and loaded, ready to go. But with that being said, Shah, how was this week for you? This was a very crucial game. Not crucial game, but like it was a very exciting game. I'm sure for you it was. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. What did you think of it of your game against the Bengals?
So going into that game, I was in Texas and I landed at like 2 a.m. Went right to Hamza's to hang out with the boys and then had the early game. Uh, so I don't really know what to expect because like with the weather as well, it was raining. So I made sure to tell my guys like, hey, look, like be sure, uh, you know, we might have a very run heavy offense this week as opposed to what we had in week one when we were just tossing bombs, all over the field. Threw for over 100 yards. In this game, I think I threw for like just under 40 with the way how the weather was. But it was a fun game, 0-0 at halftime. And then, had to make, some adjustments, like couldn't even catch like the snap with the way it was pouring. Had to go under center. And then, I just made sure, our guys, they trusted, they trusted me. They trusted Dub. They trusted each other. I told them at halftime, like, look, like, right now, like it's 0-0, one of us will have to make a play, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else. And I'm glad that, the entire team got to contribute to, I believe it was 21-0 at the end.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And Shah, let me tell you, I as the game was going on, and after halftime specifically, I don't know what the other team did, but it seemed like somebody on the Bengals, maybe it seemed like it was Sayed Zach in particular. He lit a fire in you, and I feel like I don't know what happened, but maybe you can enlighten us on what happened right before half that lit that fire and put you, to score 21 unanswered points.
well, first, I like Zach. I love the guy. I love Zach, love Rack, two of my closest friends in Q&T. And then, like their entire team, like it's great. It's all love with them. But I felt that I was like, I got hit quite a bit in which, I don't really care in terms of the calls, but I just don't want to get hurt. So, I had some scratches on my arms. I got, obviously it was not intentional, but, a little, like it was a bit of uppercut, to my jaw. So I told my guys at halftime, I look like, like we'll have to play a clean game. But, like I told them, I was like, look, like, if that was you guys personally, like I wouldn't like I wouldn't let that slide. So we'll see in the second half, like, if you guys will let that slide. I think that hyped the guys up, and then his Dubs, he told the guys like play for your quarterback, and I think that's what the guys did. And alhamdulillah, we started off the second half with the pick six, and then we went with the run game. We scored a touchdown with Zaman. Abbas had a huge run. Shea had a good run on a jet sweep. and then scored with Zaman again on a passing touchdown, and then like shout out to the defense, man. With the way that everyone's playing, especially in the secondary, we have the most picks out of any team through 2 weeks, 6 picks. I really want.
Yeah, some excellent choice words there. Haider,
So I
was your
was
analysis
actually
of this game?
roughing the other game. So like once in a while, I'll peek over and see what was going on. And at one point, Qasim was walking back into the huddle. I'm like, what? What's the score of the game? He goes 0-0. I'm like, oh wow, this is probably going to be whoever scores first wins. And I guess I didn't even know it was 21-0. I thought it was a lot closer than that. So I mean, Taha told me a lot of the play calling was pretty bad. They should not have ran the plays that they ran. And they took a lot of deep shots, which was a dumb idea to do, especially in the pouring rain. I think the Bengals just had a bad game plan, to be honest. I think they beat themselves, and Shah and the Lions just completely took advantage of it.
So let me tell you, I'll give you the Reg analysis for this game, and it's something that I pointed out earlier. It's one is that the Lions, who are now probably my favorites to win the championship this season, part of their success is that they
I
have
said
one of
that
the
in the beginning of
strongest
the season.
offensive and defensive lines. The amount of 100%. The amount of time that Ali Shah
Mm-hmm.
has at quarterback, none of the other teams give their quarterback that much time in the pocket. Between Shabby Play, who is not just preventing guys from getting in, but also got an awesome sack on when they were on defense, and Dubs
Shabazz.
and Sajid and there's like two other guys. You have a big like
Shabazz.
Shabazz. Like there's so many guys that can play line and play line well on that team that Shah is all day in the pocket, and it gives him plenty of time to find his receivers. Then my other big take for this game is on the Bengals. I'm saying it right now, Qasim. I hope you're listening. I think that anybody taking you as a wide receiver one is a big mistake because you've been playing okay, and part of it is that Taha keeps overthrowing you. But dude, you're the top guy on that team. Everyone's counting on you, to lead the team to victory. And there was a couple of drops I saw. I wasn't happy about it. There was a couple of bad passes, but like, dude, you gotta step it up for your team, my man. Otherwise, it's gonna be a long season for the Bengals.
I will say though for Qasim, uh, and for Taha, like right after the game, I told him, look, like you know, with the way that they played, with the way that the conditions were. I played these guys twice last year at the Raiders. Two hard fought games. I know that they're capable of more than more than what they showed. Uh, and like here's Qasim, like I played up on him in the first half, and like he did have me beat on a few slants and drags. It was just like that ball was too, way too wet, and then Taha, like we did say that like he is kind of prone like to staring down his brother. So we kind of made sure that if there was anyone on that team who's gonna beat us, like it won't be Qasim. But bro, like it's a really good team, so I'm not worried about them. I'm sure we'll see them again.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely could be a very strong team. They have a lot of potential, but they got to step it up. I think defensively they're strong. It's offensively. I think they've Taha this game 2 of 11, 9 yards and 3 interceptions. So I mean, granted the conditions very bad, but I look forward to seeing them come back strong next week. And their game against the Bucks, which should
They
be
are
a good
Qasim and
matchup
Taha
as well.
both out week 3.
Yeah.
And Sayed Zach,
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
Sayed
Well,
Zach
As is Zach, I heard.
Sayed
So
Zach is living his life in Turkey right now.
well, we'll see what happens. Speaking of teams that have great chemistry, let's talk about the Jaguars and the Chiefs. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys how much of this game that you were able to watch, um, but the Jaguars. The one thing that I noticed is that their chemistry is about it's about as much chemistry as you see in like a sixth grade like girls sleepover. Everyone's gonna be fighting with each other on their own team. So that they're basically a bunch of sixth grade girls, which hopefully I can say on the internet, but I don't know. Anyways, but I don't know. What do you guys think of that game?
So watching
yeah, you
back
go
this
first.
game, we are actually watching this game at Hamza's house earlier. I just think, like you said, it's the team chemistry. There's no bonding, and there's no there's a lot of finger pointing. I think a lot of people are pointing the finger at Shazan at quarterback, but I don't think Shazan is playing as bad as people are trying to make it seem. I think the other guys just got to rally around Shazan because when you don't rally around your quarterback, it brings down that confidence and it just brings the whole team morale down.
100%. Shah, what are your thoughts?
I watched this game at Hamza's house as well. Uh, as far as the Jaguars, as had said, like Shazan has not played bad at all, considering that he only has 2 weeks of experience. I actually think that he's probably been like the third best QB in the league as far as like the throws he's made. He's had some great throws that have been dropped by his receivers. We know that these guys are capable of catching the ball. His line, on paper is great, so they have to step it up. But I think the props has to go to the Chiefs here. They had Hussein. He played well. Reg, I think you had a sack. Hazan Mumtaz, we all know he's a great athlete. I'm glad that he's finally has a chance to shine. And, I'm really proud of Miz. And, AB, that's a really fun line. And, you go up and down that list. I think somebody has a good thing with the Chiefs going on right now.
Yeah, I think Asad Merchant has an excellent thing going on with the Chiefs, and they're going to see more victories as the season goes on. Meanwhile, Asad Bhai Joffrey, I think he's got to really step up as the leader of that team and really get his guys together because everyone seems
Yep.
to be fighting each other, and I think the lack of leadership is showing pretty badly on that team. So until that happens, they're just going to continue to lose, game after game. The Chiefs are against the Titans next week, and the Jaguars against the Eagles. So I think those will both be interesting matchups. We'll get there. Next up, let's talk about the Titans and the Eagles. This was a fun game to watch. It was a very close game in the end, high scoring. Shah, what did you think of it?
3 words: Professor Hassan Ali. With the way that he stepped up as a receiver, because he fell in the draft, and he left early on draft night. He told me, he goes, bro, look, like I don't understand why I got picked so late. I'm gonna go out there and prove that I'm not only a quarterback. I don't I don't only have to play whole line. He went out there. He had a great catch, like on a great throw by ZJ, who's played outstanding. I believe he had like 5 touchdowns in this game. So Zen, he's doing what Zen does. That receiving core, it does not play great week one. He's always open week two. Inshallah, we hope that Hassan Khan, inshallah, he recovers and then he gets back with us soon. So our prayers are with him. And yeah, just overall great performance, and there's a reason that they're 2-0.
So I ref this game.
Yeah,
And I want to say the reason ZJ and Farhan were able to throw the ball is thanks to me. I was wiping the ball after every play. So thanks to me, ZJ had that day. No, I'm just kidding. I think the Titans are the same way the Lions are. They have great chemistry. They rally behind their captain. They rally behind their quarterback, and they trust each other. No matter how the game is going, what the situation is, they trust their quarterbacks. They trust their receivers, and they have that chemistry going. I loved watching the Titans play. Eagles, they were down 20-2 early, but they did not give up, and they came back and made this a very good game. Farhan made some good passes. I believe Mustafa has 2 touchdowns this game. So he stepped up in a big way. And I think it was out of all the games, this was the only game where I think the offenses looked good. And I think that just speaks to how good of players ZJ and Farhan are.
Yeah, I think so. Just to throw some stats out there, both ZJ and Farhan played phenomenally in this game. ZJ 6 of 9, 3 touchdown passes, 73 yards, and also 4 rushes, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. A special shout out on the Titans to Basil Gadar, who had 2 catches, 33 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And from the Eagle side, Farhan 11 of 21, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 90 passing yards, 6 rushes, 57 yards,
Mm-hmm.
a rushing touchdown, and he got a 2 point conversion at some point. And he
Yep.
kicked a field goal and all their 4 extra points. So he's definitely a potential candidate for MVP discussion. We'll see what these two teams do next week. Like I said, the Titans are against the Chiefs, and then the Eagles are against the Jaguars. So both should be interesting games. Let's talk about that final game for this from week two. which was the Buccaneers and the Ravens. Haider, let's start
Not
with you,
off
my man. The
very, very
Ravens
bad
not
start.
off
I
to a
think
strong
another week where
start.
we just beat
What's going on?
ourselves. I believe they had 20. The final score was like 26 or 28 something to 21 or 25-21. So we beat ourselves.
25-21.
Our offense gave the defense 2 pick sixes and 2 safeties. Our offense was not there. I don't know what the play calling was in the beginning of the game. It was very bad. There was no chemistry. There's a little bit of arguing going on in the huddle. And it's shown that the top two teams right now are the Titans and Lions. Like I said before, they rally behind their quarterback, they rally behind their captain, and they do what they want. They listen to them, and they understand that no matter what, their guys are going to make the plays, and that's two things that the Jaguars and the Ravens are not doing right now. The chemistry is not there. They're arguing. They're pointing fingers. Us as the Ravens, we do one thing in practice, but we don't implement it in the game. I don't know why they don't, but they got to step up because now we're facing Shah and the Lions. They're 2-0, and we'll see what happens. Shout out to the Bucks. They played very well on defense. They made us pay for our stupid mistakes. Yeah.
Oh man, and that's some harsh words for his own team. But Shah, as a team that's going to be facing the Ravens next week, what were your thoughts on this game?
So I was the referee for them in both week 1 and week 2. And obviously this coming up week, this is probably like the game I had circled on my calendar just because I play against a few of my teammates on the Rams and Willie and Bobby, two key guys to a championship run. Uh, Everything Heather said to an extent, I believe is true. I thought this at the beginning of the season. I told I told Zara about this. I told Azara about this. You know, obviously all fun and games, but it looks like there's a ton of big names on paper. But I don't know how they're playing together and stuff. I compared it to when the Nets had KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Like all these big names, but they just can't click with each other. These are all guys who need the ball in their hands. These are all guys who make plays in different ways. One thing I was surprised at with such like a veteran team, with such a talented team, was the fact that like guys are catching the ball and they're running sideways and backwards. Like I don't understand why that's happening. They don't know where they are in the field, and then they're questioning me as to why they got a safety. Like if a quarterback is playing 8 yards, freaking back in shotgun, like it's gonna happen. And the Bucks, let's not forget to talk about them. They are the team that won this game. Shout out to Yasser, to Russell Merchant, two more guys on the Rams, like great pass rushers. MJF had a pick six, and then Moyafa another Ram with the pick six. So and props to Allen, bro. Like he got a lot of he did unfortunately receive like a lot of scrutiny for how he played in week 1, and then even prior to the season. I think once he settled in both week 1 and in week 2, not more so as more so as a quarterback with the passer, but just keeping his team in check, calling the plays, things like that. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, it's a decent take shot. What I'll tell you is the play that you're talking about, and I'm gonna combine basically both of your guys' analyses here. So definitely, I think the Ravens beat themselves. They don't seem like they're on the same page like at all about what's going on. In particular, Bobby running back and forth, like well behind the goal line. Like I guess the whatever you call the goal
Ken
line on
also had a
that side.
similar play too.
And yeah, there was two safeties that were just ridiculous plays. I don't know what they're doing, but certainly they need to learn one to run forward. But the bigger issue I think for the Ravens is their line falls apart almost every play. Like I feel like Uzair has not a lot of time to throw the ball, and because of that, a lot of his throws were pretty like not accurate at all. And so hence he ended up going, I think, 5 of 19 or something like that. 5 of 19, 2 interceptions. So it was a tough day for him. On the other hand, I think on did okay, 4 of 12, 33 yards. Not the best, definitely better than week 1 though. Really, I think that the Bucks defense saved them in this one because, and honestly, both defenses played decent. But the Bucks defense just came out on top and really made the plays when it counted. So props to them for that. So that concludes our week 2 recap. With that being said, at this point in the season, who are both your guys' number one teams that you
Hmm.
think is going to win the championship?
I mean,
Haider, I'll start with
like I
you
said, I've
because
been saying
obviously it's not your team.
the two teams with the best chemistry, the Titans and the Lions. I don't think you could. It's tough to pick.
So which
If I
one, man?
had to
Which one?
pick, I'd go with the Titans if I had to pick. The Titans. I'll go with
Oh,
the
always going
Titans.
against the Lions. Oh man! All right.
No way, we'd rather have it. I think my
And
choice is obvious, Reg. With the way that we played so far, with the way that we bond both on and off the field, so far so good. We still have a lot of room to improve. As I said, I'm really excited for this game against the Ravens. A ton of my friends are on that team, a ton of the and a ton of the Underman guys are on that team. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. But I think this could be a statement win, and inshallah, I plan on taking it.
that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna say I discounted the Chiefs a lot. Being a Chief myself, after the week 1 and just kind of even like this past week, we played well, but I think we could play better. I think that we're actually going to probably go to the finals now that we're 2 weeks in. I feel confident saying that, but I think it's going to be the Chiefs and the Lions, and I think the Lions are going to come out strong and take the championship because there's very few holes in that team, and it's going to be tough to be a very well packaged team. They're basically the evolution or the four horsemen of the NJSSL.
It's the
So
bloodline, bro. You have to acknowledge us.
there you go. There you go. The bloodline that makes you Roman Reigns. So there you go. Oh my
Tribal
good
chief,
God.
baby.
There you go. All right, let's talk about this upcoming week. We got about somewhere between 7 and 12 minutes left. So first game, let's talk about it. Chiefs and Titans. What are we thinking is going to happen?
Is the
Shah,
Sam coming?
uh, Hussein is coming, and then for the Titans,
And
they're
Qasim
missing
Bhai on the line.
Irtaza and Hassan Khan and Qasim Bhai.
So with that said, with the way that the Chiefs played, I think you guys have a great run game. I think you guys have a strong line, and you guys have a lot of energy. Uh, but the thing that I would say is that I won't ever, count ZJ out. I'm sure he'll find a way to stay in the game. But the fact that Hossein is there, Zem Mumtaz and you, Miz, and Abbas will be on the line as opposed to the Titans with no Itza, no HK. ZJ will have to throw to Nucky. Professor will have to be heavily involved again. I don't see how they overcome that. So I think the Chiefs take it, and I think they take it pretty easily.
I agree with mostly
Haider, what are
what
your
Shah
thoughts?
said. I just think that it's a tough matchup for the Titans, without their top two receivers. And I just think this is going to be a game that is Hussein's going to dominate. It's Hussein. He was most of the Chiefs' offense and defense from what I heard last week. And I think the fact that the Titans don't have their other receivers, it's going to be very easy to just key in on ZJ while ZJ running the ball and just trying to extend plays. Exactly, yeah.
Please have a QB contain, Reg, please.
Oh, don't worry. We'll continue to be. We'll force him to run the ball, and after he does, it's over. We're gonna take him down. ZJ, you know I'm coming for you, boy. So you better watch yourself.
You
And
want some?
Professor,
Come
and
get some.
there you go. And Professor, what do you think about this game? It doesn't matter what you think about this game because you know what? That flag was still ridiculous. I'm still calling it. All right. Anyways, so with that being said, let's move on to the Bucks and the Bengals. I think this one could actually
So
be a pretty
Bengals are
close
missing
game.
three of their
Either,
guys.
what do you
Gossen,
got?
Said, Zach. Bucks are also missing a few key guys. I think Yasser is out. Yafa is out. I think they have another player who might be out. But the best player on the field is going to be Mehdi, so I'm going to go with the Bucks here. I just think the Bengals don't have anyone to match up with Mehdi, so I think the Bucks are going to win a close game, probably no more than like 3 touchdown, 4 touchdown game. And I just think the Bucks are going to take this one.
Shah.
So with the fact that they don't have QT or Zach, which are probably the top three players, I think it'll be really hard to pick against against the Bucks. Just feed Mehdi, feed Yafa. Rack, he does have his team in a good spot. Like they're not falling apart, like by any means. So I'm not really worried about them. But I'm think the Bucks in this game. I think with the way I don't see who's covering Mehdi. I don't think I don't see who's covering Yafa, and they do have like a really strong O line. So I think that the Bucks are going to take this.
Yeah, I think the Bengals have a strong defense, but even with the guys that they're so a lot of the top guys missing, I think that the Bucks are going to capitalize and
One thing I
they're
will
going to find their
say
way
about
scoring a
this
lot
game,
of
I'm kind of excited to see what
initially
Goodyear does
one
at
two.
quarterback. Yeah.
We'll see. He's probably going to be very animated. That's for sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's basically like a little Dominic Mysterio,
Wow.
Anyways, next we got the Ravens and the Lions. So that's going to be, I think we all three of us can say it's going to be a one-sided game. Uh,
Wow.
what I'm
I
pretty sure we're
think,
all
I
going to say
mean,
that. I don't know,
first off,
Heather.
we
What do you
have
think?
Noah Zerby this week, so we're going to have to figure out what we're doing at quarterback. I'm sure they discussed that at the practice they had today. I think in order for the Ravens to win this game, we're going to have to keep Shah and the Lions offense at a very low scoring game. If they start to run away with it, I don't know if the offense will be able to keep up without Ozerba at QB. I mean, I'm gonna obviously go with my team. I believe we're gonna find a way. So I think as long as we keep our defense does its job to give our offense a chance, I think we can win the game.
Well, Shah, what do you have to say to that?
Well, obviously, I'm picking my team to win, but I do expect like a hard fought close game, a game like it'll come down to 1-2 plays, just because of the fact that like the Ravens are 0-2. I know how hard they've worked. I know how much they love, playing in this league. I know how much they want this game. Being that it's me, how much I want this game, being that I'm playing against all my friends. So I think they will be prepared. I think they'll be ready. Me and Ali talked about it. He knows all of my plays. I know like all of his plays. So it just comes down to who can execute. I have a lot of faith in my team. So inshallah, we pull out the win. But I don't expect it to be one sided. I think this will come down to what one of the last few plays.
All right. Well, interesting, interesting. Well, I think I mean we'll see. Have to see what happens. Certainly if the Ravens can get their chemistry, and get on the same page, and learn how to run straight instead of cutting every 3 seconds, then they'll have a shot. But I think the Lions' offensive line is better. Lions' defensive line is better. They're going to be pressuring the quarterback almost every play. It's going to be tough for the Ravens to have a lot of forward progress in this one. And finally, let's round it off with the Eagles and the Jaguars. I think this is going to be another one-sided game for the same reasons, right? Like I think the Jaguars still haven't quite found their chemistry. There was a lot of yelling at players that left the game early, which is probably going to happen again. There's a lot of blame on Shazan. There's a lot of lack of leadership. I think Eagles basically have even if they don't have as talented of a roster as the Jaguars, you can argue has. They're a lot more cohesive, and the guys that who you wouldn't expect them to be as strong as they are, they're playing really well. So and props to Farhan for making that happen. What do you guys think? Shah, go first.
Farhan, as we know, he is one of, if not the top player in this league. So it'd be hard to pick against him with the way that he has his team ready, and like I love the way that he's like taught. I don't know who taught him, but that offensive line, like they know how to move. Like their tackle is pulling. They block. All the way downfield and stuff. But I'm gonna actually take the Jaguars on this one. Uh, and I'll tell you why. So, and I told us about this, and I told Hamza Shabaresh is on. He's played well. There's it was 1-2 plays that did not go their way in each game because they could easily be 2-0 right now, and instead of all these things that we're talking about right now, the talk would be like are the Jags the best team in the league? Winning fixes everything, and I think they will take a step towards that this week. I have a lot of faith in Shubber, Hamza, and Shazan and Fiddy. As like I look at the roster on the Eagles, I think they'll hold up, but the fact that I don't know what Mo's situation is, I don't know what Mo's Josie situation is, or the Abbas situation. They have a great pass rush. MB will have his team ready. I know how bad he wants to win. Uh, so this team is motivated, and I think it's a matter of time until they break through. So I'm going
Uh,
with the Jaguars.
I think what I said for the
Evan.
Ravens, I think is the same thing for the Jaguars. I think they're gonna have to really, if they win this game, it's gonna have to be, I think, a low scoring game, and they have to rely on their defense. I do think that the Jaguars' skill players match up very well against the Eagles' skill players. So I think as long as the Jaguars keep a spy on Farhan and don't let him get loose, they could win the game. But I haven't seen the chemistry there with the Jags yet, so I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
And to your point about having a spy on Farhan, if you've not watched a lot of the Eagles games, for those watching at home, it doesn't matter if you have a spy on him because Farhan will find his way
That's
around
true.
that spy,
That's true.
and he'll run for a touchdown. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so it should be a good third week. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be from East
Heavenly
Brunswick.
Farms.
It's gonna be at
Heavenly Farms.
Happy Day Farms, Heavenly
Easy
Farms,
Farms.
Heavenly Farms, and how heavenly the games will be. Inshallah, there'll be a lot of good spirits, and it'll be some fun games. And just so everybody knows, I call out a lot of people on this podcast, really just for the entertainment of it. And I love each and every one of you guys, in particular you, Professor. So just want to throw out that disclosure, and then before we round it off, let's who do we think we're going to ask a Reg question of the night? Who do we think is the odds-on favorite after these first 2 weeks to take the MVP
It's a
trophy?
50-50 for
Haider,
Shah and
I'll
ZJ. I
start
don't
off
think
with
there's
you.
another player you can put in the argument right now. It's one of those two. Farhan is probably the third guy, but because those guys are 2-0, I would put ZJ and Shah at the top.
That's fair. That's fair. Shah, what was your thoughts?
Uh, with me, Zan has played extremely well. He has two championships in basketball. He was the quarterback of the year last year. But as I said at the beginning of the podcast, we do make like some wrestling, like some references. So I'm sure, Reg, you know this. To be the man, you have to beat the man.
Gotta beat the man.
So inshallah, I'm gonna continue to play for my guys, and I'll play for that ring. And then if we get the MVP, great. But I'll run through a brick wall for the guys on my team. So inshallah, just focus on that. Focus on the Ravens, and hopefully we could pull out a big one this week.
Yeah, certainly the Lions Titans game will be a very exciting one to watch. Just to throw out the stats of it, actually the best from a passing standpoint, one might argue that the best quarterback right now is actually Farhan, who's passing above 50% completion rating, only for 95 yards, which is about sixth in the league, but is 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, which again nobody else can say right now. From a rushing standpoint, the three guys that we mentioned, Zan Joffrey, Farhan Ahsan, and Ali-Ahmed are your top three rushers in terms of yardage, as well as in terms of touchdowns. Zan has 2 touchdowns, 137 yards. Farhan, 2 touchdowns, 111 yards. And Shah has 1 touchdown with 82 yards. So from an offensive standpoint, you got to definitely keep those guys in mind. Now, defensively, because that's going to play a role too, Ali-Ahmed does lead the league in interceptions with 3. And I don't see either of the other guys on here for either sacks or interceptions. But of course, there's more to it than that, and probably they're up there in tackles. From a fantasy standpoint, Farhan's number one, actually quite by far with 62 points. Zan Joffrey with 46, and Ali Shah with 43. So it looks like those three guys are the odds-on favorites right now. We'll see what happens though as the season goes on. Who knows who might get injured? Who knows who might start throwing a bunch of lobbers that get intercepted? We'll see what happens. But with that being said, folks, we are running out of time. It is 11 o'clock here on the Eastern Standard Time circuit. We wish that you have a good rest of your night. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you to both Ali Shah and Haider Abbas. We hope to have both of you guys back as soon as you can. Any closing remarks, my friends?
Yeah, Reg, I just want to say that for those of you guys that don't know, May 4th, our boy Reg, it's a birthday, not a day over 28. So inshallah, let's all be sure to wish him on Sunday, and let's have a great week. So I'll be the first to say happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
bro.
Reg.
Thanks, Shah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you both. Today's Hamza's birthday, so happy birthday to him.
Happy
And
birthday, Hamza.
it finally makes sense why Hamza is such a cool guy. So love to each and every one of you guys. And Shazan's trying to join, so I'm gonna let him in, say one thing. We're gonna make fun of him, and then we'll go from there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if he's gonna be. Oh no, he's recording. Hey, Shazan, thanks for joining us. You big
Assalam,
galoot.
assalam. No problem.
Well,
No problem.
alaikum salam. All right. Well, Shazan, we pretty much finished the podcast, but basically we talked about how we think your team sucks because nobody knows what they're doing. What are your thoughts about that?
All right, so let me tell you something.
I
I have
guess
massive respect for
that
Redge
is
Bhai
your
as an
thought.
older brother and everything, but lately the talk is. I appreciated your kind words earlier, putting me in the MVP conversation, but I think the
Oh,
talk.
you're way out of that conversation now, bro.
Those are truth of the league.
Don't do that. Look. This is what I want to say. No matter how much people, this is like a real talk. No matter how much people want to see from the outside, at the end of the day, every single team is having their own issues that don't either are not on public display or are on public display or easy to make fun of, whatever. But every team is going through some sort of adversity. And like I know Hamza reminded me last year, the Dolphins were 2-0 and other teams were 0-2 and they came back and fought back. I have full
Fair
trust in my
point.
team.
That's true.
I
That's
genuinely
true.
have full trust in my team. I'm confident in our team. We have the talent. And just like every other team, if any other team, the Ravens going through struggle, look at their team. They're talented. They're very talented. Titans are very talented. Cohesion matters. Teamwork matters. Bro, there's nothing bad to say. Drops happen. This happens. I have terrible plays, boneheaded mistakes, but bro, I think we'll be fine. Inshallah, of course.
All right. Well, those are some very encouraging words.
But I do have one
Hopefully,
question. I do have one question though.
yes.
Raise your hand in this podcast if you have the least amount of picks thrown in NJSSL.
I don't have
Nothing
any
wrong
picks
with
thrown,
Shazan.
so but just
A-Town down.
for the record, Shazan, Farhan's a lot better of a quarterback than you right now. So and you're playing him this week, and he has 0 picks thrown. So best of luck, my friend.
Man, we don't count Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. Come on, let's not do that.
This boy Jalen Hurts is quarterback. I'm just saying.
All right, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right, Shazan, thanks for joining us at the end. Inshallah, we'll see all of you back on next week's podcast as we continue our trek through the second football season within the NJSSL. With peace, love, and all the blessings in the world. Assalamu alaikum, folks. Take care.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Bam.